Let the magic rise.
You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Playing against a checker's child.
Good Lord. Good evening, folks. And welcome to Jingly-Jangly. Fake news and imaginary views for the post-truth society. Yes, your antidote to reality with Piers, Gary and Olly. And yes, I've got a cold. And we've got independent presidential candidate Michael Finley, a cannabis lawyer, no less. And hey, any excuse, I say. I endorse this message. And Andi is due in two to chew on Brexit. America gets stoned. That's our theme. Fake news and political merkins.
We seem to only be the three of us. Can you hear me?
Oh, Piers, hold on. Look, for goodness sake, you don't give production stuff away. How are you, Piers? Are you freezing your whatnots off over there in London?
Well, you've just been over here, so you know how cold it is. I mean, like, yeah, it's freezing. It's like it's threatening to snow. It's all pretty crazy, but we're coping. You know, we can cope. We can do a bit of chill. You know, it's not so bad.
I'd forgotten how cold it got. I haven't been there for 2-3 years from old.
Yeah,
Boy,
that's right. You haven't been over to the old Blighty for a little while. You know, you've been lapping up the Spanish rays, not really getting cold at all. You know, you've gone thoroughly kind of Spanish on us.
Oh, very, very chilly. So what's going on? What have your highlights of the week, Piers? What have they been?
Somebody's trying to get through to us, I think. I heard somebody in the background there. But anyway, listen, yeah, highlights of the week. I think probably Madeleine Albright, that black-eyed harridan who should have retired several decades ago, has come out saying that she wants to become a Muslim in order to sort of fight Trump, which I think is sort of vaguely amusing. And they've also been these fantastic rip-take versions of the inauguration where people have dubbed over the conversations between Donald and his and Obama and their respective wives, and it was very, very funny. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but it's been doing the rounds on social media, so I should think a number of you probably have. But those are my highlights of the week. Yeah, Madeleine Albright becoming a Muslim and the mistake on the inauguration.
The inauguration. Well, did you watch the inauguration? I watched it with my mum, actually.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow. And did the crowds look thin, or in front of Capitol Hill, or did it look sort of
hair? I reckon he's got hair, hasn't he? But I still reckon that flap kind of goes up and a load of UFOs come out. He's got a hidden base going on there.
Dude, we did that joke last week.
I don't like that.
It was good. I thought we could run it twice. Do you remember that? Do you remember that with Ronnie Reagan? Spitting image. The president's brain is missing. Do you remember that?
Yeah, there used to be, to those who don't know, which is probably a large contingent of our audience, there was a program in the UK called Spitting Image, which was basically a bunch of puppets. And they did Ronnie Reagan and Margaret Thatcher and all the sort of British politicians of the time, and anybody prevalent actually in politics on the world scene. And Ronald Reagan used to lie in bed next to Nancy, and somebody used to sort of come in. One of his guys used to come in the morning, and they'd hoik his brain out of a glass of water and open the top of his head up and pop that little sucker in there, and then Reagan would sort of boot up, and they'd be like, Nancy, So yeah, it was quite funny. But I don't know why we're talking about that anyway.
No, I know why. I'll tell you why. Because we need to get back in that comedy vein, don't we? I mean, the one thing about the last 8 years, and to be honest with you, I think that Liberal candidates tend to be this way. They have less comedy than Conservative candidates. That's just my experience. I mean, people like Tony Blair, for example, or Gordon Brown, they didn't have any humor. There was a humor breakdown going on there. Whereas people like Cameron, who stuck his todger in a pig, or
allegedly,
Thatcher, her cabinet stuck their todgers in something or whatever, probably underage, then there's some terrible stuff, but at least there's some sort of perverse humor as well, dark as it may be. And yeah, sure. I think with Trump, we can expect a good old dollop of good old-fashioned humor, no?
Yeah, well, he's ripe for being satirized. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he has been ad nauseum satirized prior to the election. And the guy is just the perfect candidate for having the piss taken out of him.
I don't like that.
I'm getting a lady coming through. Have we got somebody on the phone with us?
Let's take a roll call here. Have we got our Gary?
You sound like a rock star, dude.
We do indeed.
Mr. Gaza, how are you doing, mate? How's California?
Oh, we're actually getting some moisture out here. It's amazing.
Oh, man.
Like weeks and weeks of just soaking us rain. It's astounding.
Nice.
Hold on, Gary. Hold that thought. That we're going to have to do, because the truth is, Revolution Radio loves and darlings. We've been doing a bit of a test this week because we wanted to. Piers last week told me that I was talking far too much and over everybody else, and he might have a point. And so we thought we would try this new system whereby we could actually see each other as well using Facebook video. And so, for example, I know this is radio, so, I need to allow for that. But I can see Gary now holding 2 chickens. And old Piers, I'm not going to tell you what he's holding, but it ain't chickens. It's a bit more like that. But so
I'm not going to tell you how I'm holding them.
But
all I can say is that I need my hands for the keyboard. That's all I have to say on the subject.
Ooh.
Oh, poor chicken.
Excited now.
I can categorically say Gary is not holding any chickens. He's sat in his basement with the pipes above. He looks like he's in his dungeon. Gary's in his dungeon. But as you lovely Americans like to say, basement, don't you? Everybody has a basement in the States.
Hold on. Someone's taking a pee.
Or a man pad.
That's Gary, isn't it? That's Gary. He's doing a side effect on the choir. He looks so innocent, but he's not.
What is that?
Okay, we're experimenting, people, but it's going to be a wickedly good show. We've got Michael Finley on the show tonight, who was our very, very first guest on Jingly-Jangly before we moved over to Rev Radio. He popped on and was an independent presidential candidate and was telling us all about that. And he's on tonight to talk to us about cannabis in the US and how that's all going, because he specializes in cannabis law. And
I don't think that's all he does. I think he does some regular law as well. He's not just sort of like getting, major, kind of smokers off like small amounts of dope, in their possession type of charges. I think he does other stuff as well. But yeah,
well, there's a lot more to cannabis law than just getting people out of a possession charge.
Yeah,
There's all the regulatory aspects that need to get worked out now that we're actually legalizing it in a whole lot of places around the states.
Hoo-ha to that.
Michael?
Absolutely.
Can I just butt in?
Hold on, before we carry on, I'm just, because again,
That's true.
people, I apologize, but Skype is precarious and we're working our way through it. Michael Finley, are you there?
Oh, am I here?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Whoa.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Michael, Andy,
Excellent.
bear with us. Thank you so much. Okay. Just a bit of technical whatnot. Okay. Gary, Mr. Branson, what is going on? Mr. Trump, now I think a few more people are concerned, as well as pleased in some respects, but a bit of a mixed week, no?
Well,
We have very stupid people in our country.
that pretty much sums up how I'm feeling about America these days. It's full of
Very stupid people.
it's
Like a chess player, grandmaster, playing against a checkers child.
Yeah,
mean,
that was
think of
surely Putin versus Obama he was talking about there. It was.
it's unbelievable the crap that we have going on this week. Trump's first 7 executive orders. Oh my Lord.
7 so far. Run us through them, Gaz.
7 so far. Well, obviously the first thing was the repeal of Obamacare. That was a number 1 target.
He didn't have any kind of alternative ideas, did he? He just repealed it, and he hasn't come up with an alternative solution yet. Is that right?
That's been the problem for the last 6 years with the Republicans, is that they have no replace portion of their repeal and replace. They have no second portion there. So all they're going to do is throw 30 million people off their health insurance. People will be dying in the streets, going bankrupt. It's going to be horrific. And he's just getting started. But let's assume for a moment that we don't care about 30 million people and their ability to remain healthy. Let's talk about something more broad-reaching. Executive Order number 2.
Oh dear.
First night kind of stuff. Like, whoa, we got to get on this one. Are you guys ready for this vitally important piece of executive action?
Yes. No.
Are you just
Hit
horny
us,
for it?
Gary. Hit
Wait
us.
on it.
Hit us with it.
All right. Repeal the rate cut for mortgage insurance on federally backed mortgages, costing homeowners an average of $500 a year. Just everybody who has a federally backed mortgage just got jacked for $500.
So it's like the discount period of the mortgage has been revoked.
Correct.
Right? Okay, yeah. So we have
Obama
those
was trying
discount
to help everybody out. Yeah, Obama was trying to help everybody out. Lower the rates on federally backed mortgage insurance.
Okay, Gary, hold on a sec. Yeah. I read a statistic, and it was an official looking statistic. I think it was put out by the U.S. Treasury that said that during Obama's reign, every U.S. worker in the United States paid $75,000. That's what it cost them in the extra national debt. 10 trillion, yeah? He doubled it. 10 trillion. Divide that by between the workers in the US, and it works out at 75 grand each. So they're paying for the privilege of having that president about $8 grand a year. So, I mean, yeah, okay. So he's cut off some tax, he's got rid of a tax break there, but come on. I mean, hey, we've seen worse.
Hang on. Now let me see if I'm understanding what you're saying.
Worse. Bailing out the banks was even worse than that. That's the first thing Obama did. That cost the average American a lot more than 500 quid each. I'm just saying.
Now, wait, let me see if I'm clear on what you're saying.
Go on.
The national debt increased under Obama? Is that what you're saying?
Did it not? Yeah, by 10 trillion.
Absolutely did. Now, the question
people
that is
keep
more
talking.
relevant. What?
Oh, Gary.
People keep talking about Obama getting America out of recession. I mean, he hasn't done anything of the sort. I mean, all he's done is print money out of thin air. Indefinitely, and kept the whole sort of bankrupt system propped up on funny money. I think that's all that's happened.
Well, yeah, printing money, for crying out loud. Right. That's theft as well. Quite a system of bailout. Quantitative easing. What do you think it is if it is not theft? If you've got 100 quid and then your central bank prints another 50,
Olly,
that's devalued yours by whatever percentage that is.
Olly, I'm going to need you to shut it.
Okay.
For just a minute.
All right.
So that I can actually get out my point.
Yeah.
The point is when Obama, and keeping in mind, I am no fan of Obama, but I am a fan of accurate information.
Yeah, you are a bit Democrat.
When Obama took over, the national deficit was 3 times what it is now. So while, yes, he didn't completely eliminate the deficit, and therefore, definitionally, he did not lower the national debt, he did seriously put the brakes on the deficit.
Okay, all right. So basically, okay, this is debatable in many ways, but nonetheless, what else, Gary? What else has he done? Dakota, that sounded awful.
So what was the third thing?
Yeah.
Oh yes, the new
hurry up.
The new Mexico City policy. And what that is it reinstates the policy that non-governmental organizations, the so-called NGOs, must agree to neither perform nor actively promote the legalization of and safe access to abortion in foreign countries if they want to get any federal money.
Oh, hold on.
That sucks donkey balls, doesn't it? I mean, let's face it. That's got to be one of the worst things that he's decided to do.
That sounds very alpha male to me. Dealing with women's bodies sounds a bit dodge. That one.
So are there no exceptions to the rule at all? So a woman can be a drug addict, or she can be mentally unsound, or whatever, and there may be a ream of reasons why there might be, it's not a good idea to bring a child into the world, and yet he has basically stopped it. Full stop. No matter what. No extenuating circumstances. Is that right?
That is the Republican stance on abortion. Yes.
That's hard.
That is so backward.
Masturbation is mass murder. Go ahead, Michael.
No, Michael. Hold on. We'll pull you in.
You're breaking it. You have to stick to Ollie's rules, otherwise he'll throw a tantrum.
Hello. Am I in this conversation?
Andy, no, you're not. I'm going to introduce you in about 2 minutes.
I just wanted to say something.
You're as bad as Piers.
I was just wanting to interject.
Lay it on us, Michael.
Say no, you can't interject. Hold on, we've 3 of these bloody resolutions.
I was only saying.
There's 7, and we've got 2 minutes to do it. Gary, what else has he done?
All right. He's greenlighting both the Keystone XL and the Dakota Access pipeline. Both of those pipelines. Well.
So
yeah, and and a nice government hiring freeze. So any government functions that need to be done, if somebody moves on from their position, they can't be replaced unless they bring in a much more expensive outside contractor. So
hang on a minute. Haven't the entire senior management team at the State Department have just resigned? So what does that mean?
Well, there's a hiring freeze.
So like, there's not going to be any management at the State Department any longer. It's just basically going to be run by the cleaners who empty the bins and
probably do a better job. I mean, where are we?
Oh, the whole government.
What has old Kerry done that's useful? He said something about Israel about 5 to midnight. Bit bloody late, mate.
He went to Antarctica to look at the penguins and look at
the Iran thing, guys.
He broke.
Give him credit for Iran.
He probably brokered that because they've got a special energy weapon. Is that not the case? That's another show. I can see Piers licking his lips over that one. Okay, now he's also said one or two slightly provocative things, has he not, Gary? Such as torture works and millions voted illegally.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be getting up all on that torture now too.
Yeah.
It's gonna be third world country over here.
It's the de rigueur, a bit of waterboarding and a bit of pulling out people's nails. You know, I mean, it's the way forward. It works. It works.
He's gonna be Kim Jong Donald. That's what he's gonna be.
Kim Jong Donald.
Hashtag copyright. Gary Branson, 1:21 p.m.
Great. Yeah, man.
20.
Done something useful.
Gary, you're talking, but
Gary,
nobody can hear you.
Sorry, Gary.
But also,
Gary, go.
No, he keeps cutting out.
I can't hear him.
I think the CIA have interjected. They don't like the Kim Jong Dong.
Oh, blimey, what's going on here? I'll tell you what. I'll tell you one thing he's done that's been good this week is he has canned the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And he's also said he wants to renegotiate NAFTA. And I would have thought those two things, particularly canning TPP, was good news, Piers, no? And it's like the Trans-Pacific thing, the Transatlantic Partnership, that's already gone by the by. And that's got to be good for all of us, hasn't it? A little bit less plutocracy, a little bit less globalization.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I disagree with everything he's done. I mean, yeah, sort of cancelling TTP and TTIP is a good thing. You know, but out of everything he's done so far, the wall, the abortion thing, the pipeline. I mean, okay, there are a lot of vested interests in the pipeline, and if they, but it's just this complete disrespect to Native American Indians that and nothing stands in the way of big business, and that's ultimately what really kind of gets people's goat. It's just like, and Trump's supposed to be personally financially vested in this pipeline, even though he did say prior to, I think Gary's trying to reconnect. I think.
Right, Piers, don't worry, I'm
here.
You're on top. Oh,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Well, that's a nice segue.
When did I cut out?
Gary.
A while ago, yeah. I think when you told us hello.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. We ain't heard shit jack since then, man. But we've got Michael on. I don't know, Olly. You're in charge.
Don't worry about the production stuff, mate. We're on top.
Okay.
Now,
all right, cool.
Also, we can take this from another angle because we also have our old mate, our old mucker, Andi Reese, in the background there, lurking about, and he hopefully is going to tell us what's happening with Brexit this week, and that TPP, annulling that, knocking out on the head, that's got to be not least for Europe, Andi, because it really does put the transatlantic nonsense, plutocratic, corporate thing sort of well in the kibosh. No, Andi?
Well, I can't hear nothing you said actually recently, and therefore I can't really mention Brexit. But I would like to say that I think that what Trump's done in terms of the income tax rates, capping deductions for the wealthy, is going to be quite an important thing. As far as Brexit is concerned, well, it depends on what Farage is going to do, and where Farage, fits into this model. I think TTT was a good thing, but I think Nige is all to play for when it comes to Brexit. Actually,
Well, yeah,
Nigel.
I want them to make him ambassador to, the British ambassador in Washington. I think that would be hilarious.
They should put him on the fourth plinth in Trafalgar Square, mate, along with POTUS and the Queen.
Because we've had a massive cock in Trafalgar Square for the past year and a half, a big blue cock. So, since it's the Chinese year of we might as well have another one or another two.
I'll tell you what, we like a bit of cock.
Yeah, no, you're right. Well, we might as well replace one cock with another. Farage is a sort of sweaty. You can see sort of tobacco oozing from every pore, and his teeth are all gnarled and brown from smoking 40 a day, you know. I mean, but to be fair, you know, as much as he is a sort of eminently despisable character, he has done a lot for the Brexit movement and has galvanized the movement and is largely responsible for the movement. Now, you know, I even sort of hate myself for saying it and will probably be ostracized by every friend I've ever had. But I actually think he's actually done quite a lot of good for this country.
Yes, exactly. He has. He should be. I'll tell you what, he has done more in my lifetime than any other professional politician in the cause of democracy and a choice for the local people.
And let's face it, he hasn't run away like Boris and Dave and Michael.
No,
that's true. That's true. You know, I mean, the guy is he is dogged. I mean, he is so persistent. He just doesn't give up. His tenacity is unbelievable. You know, it's off the scale. He can take any amount of. It seems that he can take any amount of abuse and threats, and he just laughs it all off like water off a duck's back, and just comes back harder and stronger. And yeah, I mean, as much as I loathe the man, I kind of admire him, you know, and actually,
why do you loathe him?
Well, just because I don't loathe him really. I mean, I loathe him
why
just
do you
because
say
of
that?
Because he's a sweaty kind of tobacco-stained kind of goblin. But at the same time, you know, he's a goblin that talks a bit of sense, you know.
Well, I think you're right, Piers. Just to interject, and I think he has given us one of the non-truths of the last 12 months when he says, and he was specifically referencing the Merkel Germany immigration thing, but has a wider connotation. It's time we confronted the truth, and I think that is an important sentence, and I think that will resonate in the next few months, few years.
What is the truth, Andy? What is the truth? I mean, hold on. We were told during the campaign on one side, the Cameron side, the government side, the official line was that Brexit, if we voted for Brexit, he would invoke Article 50 immediately, which would start the process of withdrawing us from the European Union, the single market, and everything. The judicial court system, the Supreme Court, or whatever they call it in the EU, the whole lot. That was it. That was Brexit. And since the vote, it's all been, oh, what does Brexit actually mean? No. It's not like Brexit means Brexit. It's like, oh, Brexit must mean soft Brexit, or we need soft Brexit, or we want hard Brexit. No, I don't want any. I just want Brexit. What we voted for. They're not. They seem to be trying to convolute the issue and draw it out and just not address it. No?
Let him speak.
Trying out loud.
Thanks, Piers. You see, here's the thing, Olly, because as you rightly mentioned, Brexit. You know, the phrase "post-truth" has come ever since Brexit, and it wasn't there before.
Post-truth is nonsense. It's either truth or lies.
No, but the phrase has come from the Brexit, which then, you know, reiterates what are we talking about? What kind of Brexit? Hard, soft, whatever. And I think that's the point. You know, are we looking for a highly charged political and social discourse, or are we looking for something seamless? And if we're talking about Farage and the relationship with Trump, as we have been, then we could be much more seamless if we are Brexiting, as we've decided, apparently yesterday. Then Neuberger, new man, then...
Neuberger?
Yeah, I mean, Neuberger... Well, Lord Neuberger was the man who delivered the, as you know, the course of action yesterday. And Neuberger...
Oh, yeah. So hold on a sec. He is one of the Supreme Court judges who has ruled that Parliament gets a say in the Brexit process. Is that right?
They had to give him 3 11-year-old boys for that for making that judgment. I think it was 4 actually. No, it was 3 11-year-olds and 1 7-year-old as the icing on the cake.
And also, of course,
as a half a boy,
understand that he is. And also, we have to understand that he is essentially by lineage German.
Yeah. Oh no!
Yeah.
Or like our royal family.
Yeah, exactly.
Or me.
Okay. Oh no!
Right.
We have Germans on the shore. Oh no! We must apologize for our appalling behavior during the Second World War. We are so sorry. It's caused so much damage and carnage and killed so many Jews. Oh no, it is terrible. We're so sorry.
Okay, we've got somebody. We've got someone coming in. Yeah, what have we got? Michael Finley's with us this week, and he's on to talk to us about how we can now get stoned to our heart's content and not get busted.
Hi, Michael. Let's all say hi.
Hello, Michael.
Finley, independent presidential candidate who probably should have won, but we didn't know any better. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks, guys.
Mike, have you any idea how many votes you got cast in your favour? Did you get any kind of polling kind of numbers at all, or?
I think it was somewhere between 5.
Sorry, you broke up there. I heard 5. I'm sure you got more than 5.
Between 5 and 6.
I'm not aware of an official count on it.
I did. Hillary Clinton.
I didn't put my name officially on the ballot because of the ridiculous cost for it.
Sure.
A big part of my campaign was to show that there are other ways to run presidential elections without money. You can get your message out through social media and other ways. I mean, this is the information age. We don't need to be spending millions of dollars to get information out there. So anyway, but yeah, I'm sure
you got a few votes.
You got a few.
But yeah, not enough to carry a single state. So
say your manifesto, sir, Mr. Finley. I read it at the time, so that's going back 4 months ago now, and it was perfect. It was everything that I wanted. It was stuff like audit the Fed, reinvestigate 9/11, root out the corruption, try and be a more inclusive society, but be pragmatic as well. But it was
didn't Trump say all of that in his sort of lead up? I mean, he said, "Let's audit the Fed." Let's
about grabbing any cocks or anything. There was none of that. So
one of the things that there's actually a push for now was not only on my platform, but I've also been pushing for it in other ways for several years, which is to do a constitutional amendment to limit the terms of the House of Representatives and the Senate. There's actually some interest in that now. Basically made that proposal, and the T-Rump is he's shown some support for that, and that is one of the many things that I push for. That would be nice.
He said something about that in his 100-day contract for the American people, didn't he?
Yeah. So I do think it's important that we have those term limits imposed. I think we've got people that have established themselves in Congress for decades, and they get way too much power because of it.
Yeah, they've got too much power, influence, lobbying power. The tentacles go out. They become way too entrenched, and it becomes too difficult to make any kind of realistic change. You're absolutely right, and that is one positive. Yeah, for sure.
If they were treated like racing radio, blimey, I lost it. If they were treated like Formula One racing drivers, they'd have patches all over their suits showing their sponsorships, wouldn't they?
That would be great. That would be helpful. And, our president, apparently some of the people who sponsored him, he took a large amount of money from Energy Partners, which is connected with the Dakota Access Pipeline. So sometimes those sponsors have quite a lot of influence. It would be nice to get the money out of Washington. If he really was serious about draining the swamp in Washington, then he would be getting the money out of the system. But that's been his modus operandi before he became president. He was putting money into the system. He was buying influence. And I'm not one who ever expected him to undo that once he got into office. Now that he's in office, he doesn't care so much about whatever corruption is involved in people getting into office. He talked about it when he was trying to get in.
But as we well know, politicians will literally say and do anything in order to get elected. Obama himself said a lot of stuff that never actually happened once he said he was going to close Guantanamo Bay, but that never actually happened. And
some of his promises were good promises, and I wish he had carried them out, but he didn't.
No, he didn't. It's an argument about how much power the American president really has. You talk about all this, the lobbyists and the tentacles of influence in the Congress and Senate House. How much real power does a president have? This was the interesting thing that we were sort of touching on last week. Have we got, despite what we might think of Donald Trump, is he the first president in a long time who's actually got some real presidential power? Or a lot seems to be happening around, even though
he hasn't been bought, has he?
Well, I think Obama was a sort of a mouthpiece for the status quo, as was George Bush. George Bush Jr. I think they realised that after George Bush had left office that they really needed somebody who could actually speak, string a sentence together, and not be on the golf course 24/7. Yeah, well, they got Obama in, who was eloquent and articulate and charismatic, and won a lot of hearts and minds, because of his ability to stand up in front of people and speak, which was obviously something that George Bush couldn't do.
Piers, if I can interject here, Trump's position is semi-autonomous, and it's mainly to do with the people that he is able to appoint. And so it's not about his power, but the people that he has put around him. I think that's the scary thing in this particular situation.
Yeah, no, I agree. Although,
government is really...
What do you think, Gary?
Say to that. You're breaking up terribly.
Michael, you're breaking up a bit.
Yeah.
Michael, you got a bad connection. Something.
Oh, Gary, what do you think about that?
Right. About Trump's power being
a bit of time.
More about the people around him?
Yeah. I think that's what Piers was saying, really. What do you think about Piers was saying that basically, they're all puppets? In his case, surely, considerably less so, because he hasn't received billions for his campaign. He might have received a few million, but not even tens of millions. Probably.
Well, no, I think the selections of the people.
He got a lot of money. Make no mistake there.
Oh yeah.
But here's the thing with Donald Trump. He may not be taking direct orders as much as most other presidents have been, but he's so vulnerable to manipulation because he's a child. He's
a checkers child.
Yeah, Gary, but Gary, as a businessman, he has been able to arm himself with a cabinet which is so in his little unified world. He can have a massive impact that no other president, I don't think, has, because he's done it in terms of his business connections.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Trump is trying to grab power. I think he's trying to show himself to be powerful, but I don't think he's going to be as effective as a lot of his followers think. Basically, the American government is run by bankers and spies and wealthy people pulling the purse strings in Washington, D.C. Trump knows this because he used to be one of the people pulling the purse strings.
Okay, so
that's right. But hold on. Whoa. Is that not what he said? I heard him several times in the debate saying, that is why I will be good at draining the swamp, because I know how to, the problems that are there. No, Michael?
Except for that, when he did his victory tour, he admitted that the idea of draining the swamp, he never bought into it. It was just something somebody told him to say, and he thought, okay, I'll try it. And when he said it, people cheered, so he kept saying it. He never believed it. He never bought into the idea of draining the swamp.
Gary.
That's a very important statement, because a lot of people are really hoping, me included, by the way, that he would drain the swamp. And I understood at one stage, maybe about 3 weeks ago, that one of his campaign team said the draining the swamp thing was actually not on the agenda. And then he came back and said, oh, no, it is. It is. What you're saying, you're saying that it is not.
Well, I heard him say it in one from one of his appearances during his victory tour. That he really stated that that played well in the election.
Yes, I heard that.
But he never really bought into it.
Mm-hmm. Can I posit something to you all? What if? I mean, this is a bit of a wild stab in the dark. It's a bit of a kind of a leap of faith. But what if a lot of what Trump's doing at the moment is deliberately designed to kind of clog up the airways, grab the headlines, to distract everybody and to outrage everybody, and to make everybody think, oh well, nothing's changed, everything's the same. He's just going to be another false prophet who comes in and works with the same old corporations and conglomerates. Do you think that I mean, what I'm suggesting is that all these bizarre headlines and ideas that he's putting forward at the moment are a smokescreen for some things that might be happening behind the scenes, some very vital and important things, like perhaps the exposure of Pizzagate and the Clinton Foundation and
get on with it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's all just
try getting it out.
Keep your friends closer and enemies closer.
I personally don't expect somebody as wealthy as he is to understand what things are like for average people. I don't think he knows what the price of a gallon of milk is. I don't think he knows what it's like to fill your own car with gasoline. He doesn't invite me to his parties. He goes to parties with the Clintons. He goes to parties with oil executives.
He shops at IKEA.
So guys, just one question here. Okay, so Trump's been all about defense. Yeah, we've talked about walls and we've talked about visas and immigration, blah blah blah. I mean, I think it kind of speaks for itself. When you hire a Secretary of Defense, Mad Dog Mattis, who is a military flight commander, as your Secretary of Defense, I don't think you're that partisan.
Oh, that Mad Dog is a nice man. he's a lovely chap. He's never done anything wrong.
If you feed him a bone, he'll be your best friend forever.
Oh, Don, you're a little controversial.
But what about this relationship that Trump has with Netanyahu, for example? I mean, he seems to be.
Is that for real? Michael? Is that for real?
You're asking me if his relationship with Netanyahu is real?
Oh, baby.
I think we'll see, because one of the things that he said that I actually agreed with during his campaign was that we need to stop trying to remove Bashar al-Assad in Syria.
Yes.
We need to let Syria, basically handle its own business.
Wow.
That's not what Netanyahu wants. So let's see, what does he do in Syria? If he actually pulls out of Syria and allows the Syrian government and the Russians to wipe out ISIS there, then and keep Bashar al-Assad in power, as the people of Syria have repeatedly voted for, then we'll know that he's not a Netanyahu lapdog. If he reverses what he said before and continues to do these ridiculous things in Syria where we continue to support the bad guys, there are no more moderate rebels left. The only rebels left are and they're using our weapons that we gave them with, to the moderate rebels.
They've got all of Hillary's wardrobe. I mean, they're all in her orange jumpsuit. She must be ever so naughty.
It's all Tony Stark weaponry, isn't it? Yeah, it's all Stark weaponry. No, it is. You're right. I mean, it's arming the rebel. Yeah, you're absolutely. That's a very poignant point that you've made, actually, Michael. how much influence is Netanyahu going to have over Donald Trump in relation to Syria? Because it's very clear that Netanyahu takes an extremely aggressive stance against all his neighbours, including the Palestinians. Personally, I think the borders should be taken back to the '67 ruling. And Palestine should be recognised. And this is what Kerry and Obama were alluding to before they left office. They were saying, look, there's never going to be peace in the Middle East unless Palestine is fully recognised and the borders are fully clarified, rather than this sort of picking away, stealing territory and building settlements all over the place. I personally agree with them. I think that was one of the most profound and real statements that either Kerry or Obama made in their entire time. Why they had to say it at the 5 minutes to midnight moment just before they left office? But it was, as Gary pointed out last week, I think a little bit of a sort of saving their soul kind of moment.
Too little, too late. The Nobel Prize winner who didn't have a single day of peace during his presidency, 8 incursions, and what a tosser! I'm sorry.
What you guys wanted to coming to California and getting high.
You know what?
Yeah.
Sorry. Michael, you've got a good point, and thank you. That was a splendid segue again. Yes, it did. Actually, we do have a theme.
It really was, actually.
Because if you can't put up with Mr. Trump, at least you can blot him out now. Michael, you'll get stuck.
Well, now to use marijuana in one form or another, whether that's medicinally or recreationally.
You're breaking up. You are breaking up a bit. Why are you breaking up so much? Just because we can have a nice chat here. 5 minutes.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, we can hear you.
That's okay. Better. Yeah, I don't know if you're yanking on your cable or something.
If I lean back, it's causing problems, so I'm going to lean forward. Anyway,
first of all, before we embark on this, how you can explain to us all how we can all grow, 3 or 4 plants for personal use and whatnot.
Well, in California,
can you explain why it is? How is it that you've become a bit of an expert in cannabis law?
Well, I'm also into natural health, and I became convinced over the years that there is genuine medicinal benefits to cannabis, and it is certainly the safest medicine ever used, since it has such a ridiculously high estimated dose for overdose. You require about 20 doses estimated.
That was scientific. What does that mean?
It means, okay, for example, let's take a drug that's over the counter. Let's take Tylenol, okay? You take about 8 doses of Tylenol, you're going to shut down your liver and die of a horrific death over about 3 to 5 days. That's pretty low deadly dosage. With cannabis, they have never had an actual...
Go on, Gary.
Sorry, we missed the number. We missed the number of doses. First of all, you were breaking up during that vitally important bit of information.
I've got the packet open and I'm not sure how many to take.
Okay,
Go on, Olly, overdose, mate.
About 8 doses of Tylenol is an overdose, and it'll shut down your liver and kill you. Okay,
Nice.
For cannabis.
Wait, what?
8 pills. Eight pills.
8 Tylenol will kill you?
No, not 8 Tylenol. 8 doses of Tylenol.
Oh, okay.
Kill you, because it'll shut down liver.
Gary's worried now. He's counting his fingers.
The dose is
Gary only
2.
had 7 tonight.
I only have 2.
So with cannabis, there has never actually been an overdose with natural cannabis. The only overdoses have been with synthetic cannabis, such as K2. So it's a very safe thing to use.
I have to tell you, Michael, I was once in a bar in Amsterdam, and I did fall off my stool, and I didn't wake up for quite a while. But carry on.
What, because you tried K2?
He does it every Tuesday afternoon. That's only every Tuesday afternoon. Don't worry about that. No, actually, I was looking at some of the numbers myself, and from what I was able to determine, in order to actually die from consumption of cannabis, you would have to take the concentrated stuff, not the buds, not the leaves, any flowers, anything like that.
But, sorry.
What's that?
Why would you buy?
But you'd have to take the concentrated oil kind of stuff.
Resin, mate.
And you'd have to consume. Right. No, there's oil and resin both.
Oh, really?
Trust me, I live in California. I know about this stuff.
So shut up, Olly.
You got to consume either oil or the resin. It's all relatively in the same potency range. You would have to consume roughly a pound by mouth. Just like swallow a pound of this stuff before you die from it.
Exactly. I mean, and it has so many applications. I mean, it seems to work with Crohn's disease. It seems to work with cancer. It seems to work with Parkinson's disease. It seems to work with. It's also an anti-inflammatory and a great painkiller. I mean, it seems to have so many revelational applications that are basically non-toxic in the way that chemotherapy is, and
it's poison.
Well, it is poison. I mean, you're literally pulling somebody to the point of death in order to cure them, and it obviously costs an absolute fortune. I mean, this is it. Big Pharma, they make absolute fortunes out of selling chemotherapy. What are you going to do if you've got a very potent drug that grows in people's gardens, for crying out loud?
Mike was back to you.
But the thing, Piers, here is showing that there is a difference between marijuana and what is deemed as medical marijuana.
What is that?
I don't think there is. I think there are probably more effective strains of marijuana that will work medicinally better than others. But I mean, there are so many different varieties of marijuana and hemp. But it's the THC that is the medicinal constituent part of the drug, is it not? I mean, you do have to get high to get cured. Is that wrong?
That depends. Depends on what strain.
Hold on, whoa, Michael, just a sec. Sorry, Andy, carry on, mate. We've got TV problems with our system here, but we're working it out. Andy, carry on, mate.
It's the definition between marijuana and medicinal marijuana that has allowed certain and different states in America to, and I think that's the most important question here, because we have to look at the legal stance of this state to state and then contextualize that within our own perspective. Because if we don't, then we're just saying, well, marijuana can be this, but that's all conjecture. We don't know, A lot of people, of course, antiretrovirals. We don't know that marijuana can heal cancer. We don't know that.
I'll tell you.
There are plenty of examples of it doing exactly that.
Well, the University of Spain did a study that's
Michael.
There's been several major universities.
Okay, I'll shut up.
So, Mike, hit us.
Studies on the use of cannabis to heal cancer. One of the most famous is from the University. Under the cancer cells dying while exposed to cannabis.
But this
there are strains that are more medicinal. For example, there's CBD.
Michael, bless you. Your connection is so utterly rubbish. I don't know why. But we love
it's probably because we're talking about the medicinal qualities of cannabis, and the CIA are just like, let's mess with their connections, man. Whenever they say anything really vital, we'll cut them out. Yeah.
I've got a solution. We're coming up to the top of the hour. We're coming up to a break. And so we'll deal with that. And in the meantime, we'll try and work out Michael's connection. And Andy, you too, by the way. I don't know if you've got headphones on and all that. Blah, blah, blah.
Is it any better now?
Yes, a little bit.
Okay, I tried a different headset.
So, wow, those are the ones.
That's...
We're coming out to a break. I want to leave you with a thought. And that is that I've got rheumatoid arthritis. Yeah, I said this on the show a few weeks ago. My doctor,
brain.
Olly,
you've got it in the brain. He's severe.
My doctor in Harley Street, he said, "Why haven't you got any symptoms? Because you seem really well." And I said, "I don't know. The only thing I can tell you is I smoke quite a bit of the other." And he said, I'll have a word. He spoke to some of his colleagues down Harley Street, really senior folks, and they came to the conclusion that it could well be that I was smoking a bit of the other, and it was, but who knows? But anyway, I reckon it is got a medicinal use. Absolutely, I think there's a lot to be said for that. But we'll come up to the top of the hour. We'll get through that. We'll come back, and hopefully we'll have slightly better connections. We're learning here, folks, because we are playing with some new tech here, so that we can actually see each other, so that we don't talk over each other quite as much. And Piers is giving me the V sign as we speak.
Victory.
Yeah, that's it. That means we cut. Yeah.
What's that one? No, that's the double. That's the double.
Yeah. We've got Andy.
There you go.
I promise you, I'm going to let him talk.
Stay tuned, people.
Shut up in the next hour. Bless you. Big cheers to Revolution Radio, yeah. And if you haven't and you want to, please give us a bit of a donation, because it costs a few quid to run these servers. I think we've got the top of the hour coming up anyway. I don't know. Maybe they forgot. Maybe they forgot to put the promo in. I don't know. I suppose we've got some sponsors. Somebody sponsor the bloody show.
It's only 4 minutes too. I think you've queued the hourly break too early, dude. Oh no, here we go.
Right.
Listen in on.
Because that is one thing, isn't it, about having a good old spliff, is it does get the old system moving.
What, are you saying you always end up on the John if you get high?
It's great.
I'm getting some serious feedback now.
It's helpful for that. Oh no, let's have a roll call. Okay, so we got me old mucker Piers. Gary's
gone away. I can see Gary's chair. He's got this really nice fluffy kind of chair.
Yeah.
In his basement. I think he's gone to the John.
Oh, that's an ugly chair.
He's back. I can see him. He's back.
Hands on.
We should bring him more into the conversation. What are you putting on, Gary? It looks like he's putting he's covering himself in a duvet or something. Gary, you look like you're cold, man. You look like you're putting a duvet on yourself or something, or like a sleeping bag. Is that right? Is it cold where you are?
He hasn't got much hair, has he?
Well, yeah, the lack of hair does not hang on.
Rugs, mate.
Anyway, let Gary speak, Ollie. It helps if you actually let him get a word in edgeways.
Oh, blimey, I don't know. Andy, have we got Mr. Wagstaff? Mr.
I'm here, yeah. Reese.
The Wagstaff. Yeah.
Mike, are you there?
I'm here.
We're all here except Gary now. Gary seems to.
Michael, tell us. It is good for your bowels, isn't it? But I mean, is it good for the war on drugs?
Oh wait, there's me.
Well, I think the war on drugs has been an absolute.
You're breaking.
Yeah, am I still breaking up?
Or is this Andy?
You are breaking up, Michael, and we love you. And
I even tried a different headset.
I don't know what to do about that. Andy, you and I have shared a spliff once or twice.
We have, yeah.
So have we.
It's an outrageous. I'll tell you, all I can say is it's a wonderful opportunity to open your mind. Mr. Johnson?
Who's got echo going on?
Oh, I think we've all got it.
We've never done a show with 5 people on before, and it seems to be kind of playing havoc with the system a little bit.
Is that any better now?
Can I just ask, Who within the five of us actually believes that cannabis needs to remain illegal?
None of us.
Yeah, precisely. I think that's job done. You know.
So,
well, I think all drugs should be legalized. To be fair, I mean, it seems pointless to have any drug not legal now. It means that the government, well, it means it can be properly monitored, you know, and people can be can enter sponsored, programs to get them off it. But you know, it means that they'll get pure, clean stuff, clean needles. They won't get, you know, horrible diseases, you know, hepatitis and HIV from using dirty needles. They won't get, you know, it means the whole thing can be properly monitored, and it will totally kill the cross-border drug trade. You know,
entirely agree. Yes, entirely agree.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems daft that they haven't legalized everything, you know, ages ago. You know, it would kill all the cartels. It would kill all the international, you know, illegal international drug trade. But the fact of the matter is, you know, the reason why that's been allowed to perpetuate is because the CIA make loads of money, you know, out of this drug trade, which is pumped into black ops, you know.
And the cops.
And the cops, and you know, it's an amazing, brilliant way of generating vast swathes of cash off book, which can be used for all and sundry, and that's why it's been allowed to continue.
Why is it being allowed now, Gary? Why is it being allowed? You grow some plants,
because
don't
it
you,
allows.
naughty man?
This echo is killing me.
Oh no! Why are we getting echo?
Just suddenly decides to kick in, doesn't it? It's weird.
Is that, I don't know.
And it's only with me.
No, you're not echoing to me at all. You sound fine. It's like
just put up with it and let's. Because I don't think our audience cares about our technical difficulties.
Audience, we are the audience. Hi, Mom.
Actually, sorry, it's the hour now. Are we back on the radio?
Yeah, we are. We're back on the radio, yeah.
I had a question for Gary. Why is it now that it's legal where 10 years ago it wasn't?
Why is it legal now whereas 10 years ago it wasn't?
Yeah.
The dissemination of information. People know about it more now, and just over time, people are becoming less and less shy about it. Social acceptance is at an all-time high, so to speak.
I knew about it 10 years ago. I mean, I knew about it 20 years ago. I think probably a lot of people did know about it a long time ago. Come on. I mean, look at Jane Fonda and all that lot. Bunch of stoners in the 60s, you know? I mean...
Oh, well, sure.
It's short,
but I think
why did this happen? Really, it was under Obama's remit, wasn't it? So actually, it's a pretty good legacy after all.
He didn't have anything to do with it. I mean, yeah, he admitted smoking it, but that's the extent of his involvement there.
Michael,
well, actually, no, he did.
Go on.
He did actually say he was going to stop having his DEA agents bust growers in legal states. So that was a big part of the advancement of legality.
Oh, well, that was positive. So
it's the drug companies that have demonized the use of cannabis over the years. I mean, you know, the drug companies that obviously the politicians are in the pockets of the big corporations and are being bribed by the drug companies to demonize the use of cannabis and say that it's a terrible drug and it'll cause you all manner of all sorts of dreadful problems, which of course is absolute bloody nonsense. And you know, it's Big Pharma.
Somebody needs to mute themselves.
Andi,
Andi,
sounds like someone's yodeling.
Off.
Wow,
that was pretty amazing. Good stuff. Good stuff.
High on the hill, there's a lonely goat herd.
She's high on a hill. No wonder she's yodeling. Anyhow, the reason why the pharmaceutical industry wants it to stay illegal is they don't control it yet. They haven't made the investment in it. They've resisted it rather than embracing it, and so they have to keep going down the path of resist until they control it.
But they didn't succeed. Michael, Big Pharma wanted that. They tried it for years and got away with it. But in the last, 6-7 years, they failed. What's the difference?
They're still succeeding on. You still see the DEA trying to keep it as a Schedule 1 drug, thing like heroin, and it's not even remotely in the same category.
No.
So you still see the same problem on the federal level. People need to succeed in getting it legalized. So I still see it as a problem. Basically, Big Pharma, they like to be able to patent things. Most of the drugs that Big Pharma produces started with nature, but then what they do is they find a way to synthesize a chemical that will imitate something that a natural plant does, because they can't patent the natural plant, but they can patent some.
Yeah, the synthetic version of it. Yeah, sorry, you've just cut out, right, Michael, unfortunately. But, but you're absolutely right. I mean, I personally, and this is just my personal thought, but I mean, I do believe cannabis is an amazing medicinal plant that has many applications that could completely transform the world of medicine. And it has been deliberately demonized over the years and classed in this ridiculous way, that as a drug in the same class as the likes of heroin and cocaine or what have you, deliberately, because the pharmaceutical companies are just scared. It scares the bejesus out of them. It could kill.
The nature is more useful than Big Pharma, and they don't like it.
And they're synthetic versions of natural things that we can grow in our back garden and produce oils from that can basically cure a huge number of serious problems without this horrible chemical invasion of our bodies. This is
exactly. I mean, they'd rather sell everybody synthetic heroin, and once people are too inured to heroin for it to work for them, then they graduate to fentanyl, which is like, I think, 1,000 times stronger than heroin, which is insane. But people can actually get that. But something that gets you a little bit high in the same direction as having a beer, that's really, really destructive to our foundations of our society.
Absolutely. I mean, you can delve into this as deep as you want. I mean, it's like all these ADHD and all these different sort of prescribed psychological problems that so many youngsters and people are supposed to be suffering from these days, which they can prescribe drugs for. I mean, like, what? Come on. Kids get bored at school and get a bit hyperactive. I mean that's largely down to the modern diet they're on, which is basically sugar and salt. I mean, it's it seems that that the medical the people in medicine and the psychologists that are advocating the use of these drugs are just all on the payroll of the big pharmaceutical companies, and they're all making an absolute mint and don't give a damn. Well, I mean, it seems so pervasive and wrong. Big Pharma seems like one of the cruelest. Sorry, go on.
Can I interject here for a second, because you make a very valid point. And I've just this afternoon been talking to a couple of lawyers on the HIV project that I'm currently working on, and I'm interviewing him from a legal perspective. And he's very much an advocate of the HIV dissident movement and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And he's managed to get a whole bunch of people off with a misdiagnosis and receiving millions of dollars out of court settlements. The point I'm trying to make here, and I'm hoping, Olly, that we can have this sort of topic next week or the week after. But the point, Piers, you're making here is this. It's about money, and people are only interested if they are going to make a buck from it. And people...
It's the same with Monsanto, too. It's exactly the same deal, Michael, no?
Yes. Monsanto is actually...
Loom seeds.
Reports are that Monsanto has been working on a GMO version of cannabis, which, if they succeed in that, would be patentable. I think that would be dangerous. I think that the dangers of transgenic DNA have not been adequately explored. I certainly don't trust Monsanto and the huge amount of chemicals that they've been putting into our foods.
Yes.
I totally agree with you. That transgenic thing, that's very interesting area of study, because let's face it, everything until we started to genetically modify plants, animals, you name it, they can genetically modify it now. You know, everything has evolved in sync with each other. You know, nature on this planet has evolved together in sync, in harmony. You know,
Piers,
so we have a
hang on a second, Piers, hang on. For the audience, let's define what the word transgenic means.
Good idea.
Okay, I mean, transgenic is where, you know, a natural thing has been manipulated and had additional genes spliced into its makeup, in you know, that Monsanto will bring in from other strains of plant or animal. You know, they can put jellyfish genes in mice to make them glow in the dark, and all sorts of crazy, mad transgenic stuff. You know, some of these.
It's like in Mars Attacks, where they mix what's the name out of sex with a little dog and turn into Pierce Brosnan.
Well, DNA is not supposed to jump into another creature and have influence on it. So you have to modify the DNA to make it able to do that. Once you do that, the problem is there's not an easy off switch. So DNA that would jump from a frog into a type of corn that they want to sell you to eat, it may continue to transfer into your intestines and start splicing with your DNA. That's the
exactly
danger.
Right. It's an abomination, and I do actually, you know, I think a lot of scientists would obviously, you know, object this theory, but reject this theory. But I personally think it's an abomination. It's like it is genuinely Frankenfood, and we haven't evolved to the point where we can recognize something like that, you know, because it's not naturally evolutionary. It's an abomination. We're splicing bits of DNA that haven't naturally evolved. You know, nature in itself is very balanced and harmonic. You know, you know, things will, you know, if things get out of sync, nature has a way of bringing things into a natural order again. And what we're doing is playing God. You know, we're messing with recipes now.
Sorry.
We're messing with recipes that have been, you know, that have naturally evolved. You know, we have time.
Hey, Piers.
You know, to, yeah.
Hey, Piers, do you know what the mechanism they use to actually do that is?
No, go on, hit me.
They use a virus. They put the DNA onto or into a virus, and have the virus enter the cell and enter the cell nucleus and drop off this new genetically modified DNA.
They just inject it into Bill Clinton and let the rest work its.
He goes around and screws everything alive and injects the new DNA. Release the bill. Release the bill.
I don't like that.
I love it.
I don't like that.
All right.
Mr. Finley.
So
I did. Apparently, he was staring at what's her name, Ivanka Trump or whatever, at the inauguration, and his wife was sort of looking bad at him, and he was sort of like salivating, literally kind of dribbling out of the corner of his mouth at this lovely young nubile blonde, and his wife was just like, "Oh God, not again."
Bill Clinton.
You have to get hit with a Komatsu tractor.
That's my favorite Trump quote.
You have to get hit by a Komatsu tractor.
You have to get hit with a Komatsu tractor.
Yeah, it was amazing.
What does that mean? What is a Komatsu tractor? I know what a tractor is, but
it's what? Michael, do you ever get
Japanese
before you go into court?
So,
do I what?
Ever get stoned before you go into court?
No, I never do. I'm not actually a big fan of being stoned. I have tried it. I'm not like Bill Clinton, you know. I tried it, but I didn't inhale. I'm not like him. I have tried it. I have inhaled. I'm not fond of feeling dizzy, which is kind of what it does to me. But I still think everyone else's right to use it should be protected. I think edibles are a little better.
Big girl's blouse.
and I do sometimes use CBD oil, medicinal.
Oh. I tell you what,
the CBD oil stuff, that stuff actually doesn't get you high in the same way that THC does. So that's it's more of a pain relief sort of chemical involved in cannabis.
When were you using this, doing your sample testers? Did you go to a sort of, cannabis night?
No, Gary was a guinea pig for the big pharmaceuticals companies. he had to sit there and take it, as a suppository and orally and in his ears and his nose and they had him on a big wheel, like taking it in every orifice and smoking it. And
I think UFO story next week. Different show.
No, but ultimately,
Olly, you're saying something. Piers, Olly, what were you saying?
What? Well, I was wondering, when is this going to be legalised in the UK? Because half of the UK, I don't know, if you agree with Brexit, and then maybe not. If you're a Ramona, then you probably could do with a spliff. And actually, if you're a Brexiteer, you could probably do with a spliff as well. Wondering if it's actually going to happen. Are we ever going to get some, actually, it grows out of the ground? Yeah, you can.
Ollie, what's so sad is there are people out there, including friends of mine, parents and things, who are in a sort of terminal position with, or they're in a very advanced stage of cancer where, they're not fit or healthy enough to sort of undergo, a long chemotherapy session. They're not physically strong enough to do that. So they've run out of options, and the only option they've got really is to sort of manage the pain and allow the cancer to fully metastasize and basically kill them. So there are, there are cases, documented cases of cannabis resin and various, cannabis treatments, reversing, very advanced cancer. It seems such a shame that it's still illegal and that people have to. It's causing this huge flux of cannabis tourists, where people are, looking for. The opportunity to take these cannabinoids, in order to sort of try and give themselves one last ditch attempt at curing themselves, because every other medical option is not really viable.
Where do they go to do that? The Netherlands.
Well, they have. You can. I think you. I don't know whether it's legal in the Netherlands. I think there is. I mean, there is one variety of pain relief medicine that you can get that's cannabis based in the UK, but it's not the type of cannabis that you need in order to be able to sort of cure cancer. I think there are only, you've got a few states in America where it's now legal to be used as medicine. I don't know whether you can get the medicine in Spain. Ollie, maybe you can answer that question.
In Spain, I'll tell you, so far as recreational is concerned, and as far as I'm concerned personally, it's the same thing. Medicinal, recreational, personally, I'd say it is. I mean, from my complaint with this arthritis thing, I tell you, it helps me, full stop. So whatever you call it. But over here, you can grow 3 plants and they'll turn a blind eye. They're fine with that.
But can you actually get it medicinally? I mean, I don't know if you can. I mean, I think it's still a revolution that's occurring in the States.
But chaps, the point is, the reason why cannabis is not medicinally legalized is very simple. It's because it can be grown without the pharmaceutical adulation of it.
And they can't make money out of it.
Precisely. And that's the very reason why cannabis remains illegal. It is,
and why it's been demonized all along. Precisely. Why it's been given this ridiculous label as a sort of a antisocial, invasive, and dangerous and harmful drug. I mean, it's been deliberately demonized.
There is another reason too, and it's got nothing to do with cannabis, but it's got everything to do with hemp. Now, they don't want hemp being produced, do they, Michael?
Hemp is actually now legal to grow in California. United States still can.
Sorry, dude, you're breaking up massive.
Oh, Michael, you're breaking.
Can you hear me now?
Breaking up.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah.
So
say that
hemp
again.
hemp is legal in California now to grow. It has always been legal in the United States to have hemp products. You could buy hemp fabric, you could buy hemp rope, you could buy hemp oil, you could buy hemp seeds. You just
want to grow it
here.
You want to grow it, otherwise you're getting some cheap, inferior Chinese product, according to Donald Trump.
Right. So now it's actually legal to grow hemp in California. That was part of Prop 64. Is also some hemp law reform, but it's still actually banned by the U.S. government. And again, that's something that's not even a drug. It looks like marijuana. It's from the same
family. Yeah, you just cut out there for a minute.
It's a very useful, fibrous. It's got.
You can make plastic out of it, can't you? I mean, you can make biodegradable plastic out of hemp.
Alternative oil for certain things, for certain packaging, for lots of packaging.
You could make gasoline out of it.
That's right.
It's an extraordinarily versatile plant, isn't it, at the end of the day? And it seems to me that the only reason it's been demonized is because the government fear it, because it grows everywhere. It's a prolific thing. And they can't sort of, anybody can produce all the necessary resins and oils from it at home with a very simple chemistry lab, or, it doesn't take rocket science and large billions of invested interest from pharmaceutical companies to produce the end products that ultimately can cure. And this is why they fear it so much.
All you need is a pot. Put a bit of soil in it with a couple of seeds, a bit of water. Bob's your uncle. 6 weeks, you've got a plant. And if you do that on an industrial scale, you've got a potential replacement for, not entirely, but largely for oil. Michael, no?
Yes, it would. The oil industry would affect the paper industry, the wood industry, affect the cotton industry.
Steel?
No, but it's not going to replace steel.
Ford.
Hold on. Henry, go on. Michael, yeah.
Ford made a car out of hemp fibers.
So it could be like an equivalent of fiberglass. It can be an alternative to fiberglass sort of thing, which is obviously nasty stuff. I mean, it seems to have an amazing number of applications. It seems that, the more we talk about it, the more it seems obvious. That we have been so thoroughly lied to about so many things by our respective governments who are obviously completely controlled by these giant corporations and are all taking, all our politicians are sort of on the backhander, and God, it just makes me so angry.
It makes me angry. And I'll tell you something else, is they never discussed hemp. Medical marijuana is slightly different from the point of view of the climate. It's hemp that's the point there, because it is an oil replacement. It replaces so many different things. It's so useful for insulation in your houses. You can build your entire house out of hemp bricks. It's so damn useful. And yet in Paris, they just sucked on their bloody hors d'oeuvres, and they, I don't know what they did, but they didn't talk about hemp. Michael, I mean, to me, that makes the whole climate lobby look very disingenuous.
I think there's diversity. And it's funny because the whole world is did to them. Even
you're
claim
like mad, man. Michael.
Yeah, Mike, your mic's really not good. Mike, your mic is not good.
How
Michael,
about now?
Sort your mic out.
Really?
It's still a bit breaky.
Michael, I'm going to have to cut you off, mate. I'm
okay.
Really sorry. We're going to try this again. I'm so.
Can we get you back next week, maybe? Because I want to talk more about this.
Could we try this next week?
All right. Yeah, let's go that route.
Michael, we will try this next week, and I'm really, really sorry, because I'll tell you what, Michael was the first guest we ever had on this show, and he was fantastic when he had a decent microphone. He's an extremely knowledgeable bloke about so many things that are going on at the moment. Piers, it was a cracking interview he gave us, wasn't it?
No, it was absolute rubbish, and it was a complete waste of time having it on. No, absolutely. What you said, mate, absolutely. I concur. He's a very erudite and clever man who knows a lot of interesting stuff. So yes, Michael, if you can sort your microphone issues out, we'll get you back on if you can be. If you would do us the honor of coming back on, and
I would be honored too.
Pretty please.
Well, fantastic. Please do, and we will, we will endeavour to have a sort of slightly more, technically less challenged show.
Andy.
Yeah.
Oh, blimey. We're getting lost now. What are you, Andy?
I'm getting quite a bit of feedback.
About cannabis?
Who's got somebody needs to mute their Facebook or something, I suppose. I don't know. This is what do you think of this, guys? Okay, so folks, Revolution Radio people, we are conducting an experiment this week between us folks here on Jingly-Jangly, because we normally can't see each other because we're just using all the Skype bandwidth to have a chat, and we don't want to use any video stuff on that because then it breaks up more easily because you've only got a little limited amount of bandwidth on Skype. So we thought we would try this experiment whereby we could see each other as well, but using Facebook, so that it wouldn't clutter up the Skype bandwidth. I think at this time in the show now, and given that we've had a few errors as well and what have you, maybe we should have a bit of a chat about that, just because we're trying to get this show right, because we want a fast moving show, but we also want to show that you can hear.
Why don't you give people the number? Let's get our dog grooming friend from California back on the line. Suzanne, we need Suzanne back. I miss Suzanne. Suzanne, are you still listening? Because I miss having our chats. I want to find out where you are, where you've got the van parked, whose house you're outside, what dog you're grooming.
Have you got
for anybody who wants to call in, that call-in number is area code 310-421-4053. That's 310-421-4053. Carry on.
Thank you, Gary. It'd be good to have some. It's a shame that Michael's link is not working that well. But I mean, and have we still got Andy on the line, or is he gone as well?
I'm here.
Oh, Andy is still there.
Of course, I'm still here.
You being a very, very patient and charming guest, sort of letting us talk.
I've just rolled a massive Camberwell carrot spliff and just listening to you guys, nattering on.
Oh, brilliant! How many skins have you utilised in the production of this this particular joint?
Only 3.
Only 3.
Yeah.
Wow. How can you make such a beast with only 3 skins? I mean, like
at least 15 for one of those.
I thought. And at least a sort of half an ounce of kind bud or something. But
what do you mean by skins?
The papers, Gary. Sorry, to the Brits call papers skins.
Hold on, the call. We've got somebody calling in.
We've got listeners.
It must be. Oh, it's Prince Philip. No, it's not Prince Philip. Hold on. Hello. Good evening. You're on Revolution Radio, Jingly-Jangly. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you? This is Suzanne. Suzanne, you're Southern California.
Hey, Suzanne! She's my favorite.
Am I answering the right call this time? Am I the right Suzanne? Because before. No.
That's right. We were expecting a call from Suzanne Lindau, who's this sort of ex-CIA girl who used to be a CIA back channel for the Iraqis and then got embroiled in this big scandal because she let Condoleezza Rice and all the administration know that 9/11 was going to happen before it happened, and they ignored her, and then she got put in a kind of nut house and drugged up to her eyeballs, and then she got out. Anyway, I don't know if anybody's familiar with Suzanne Lindau, but this is not Suzanne Lindau. This is Suzanne from California, who we very much enjoy having on the show. She's been on a couple of times in the past. Where are you now? Are you on the job at the moment, Suzanne? Are you in your van, and are you in the process of grooming a beast?
Yeah.
I am indeed.
Excellent. What beast have you got in your grip at this precise moment in time?
I have 3 Shih Tzus. They're a little family.
Shih
3 little boys.
Nice.
I'm gonna have to Google a Shih Tzu to see what they look
allowed
like.
to say Shih Tzu on American radio.
Are they called Shih Tzus?
No.
Or are they called...
Whenever the subject comes up, you do have to say it. Shih Tzu. It's important.
We're in a Shih Tzu. It's a nice dog.
Shih Tzu. There we go. It's not the way I was anticipating. Oh yeah, they are quite cute actually. I'm not sure I'd have one myself, but I mean, they look like the sort of thing you could probably eat 3 or 4 of them if you were in Korea. You know, I mean, like you'd probably have 3 or 4 of those for dinner if you were living in Korea. But anyway, no, they do look quite sweet. Are they well behaved? Are they nippy? Have you had to muzzle, or are they quite well behaved? These ones.
They're adorable and very sweet.
Oh.
So like the topic of your conversation, your cannabis topic, and it's true, it's to be legalized there. It should never have been made illegal anywhere. So.
You're absolutely right. I mean, it does seem like a giant pharmaceutical conspiracy, doesn't it? Really, it really does. I mean, the more we talk about it,
It's not just the pharmaceuticals. It's the alcohol industries. Alcohol wants to be the only intoxicant out there, so they're against it as well because it'll cut into their profits by some
keyboard. Oh, I forgot about that.
Somebody's violently tapping away on the keyboard there.
Just violently, just slapping that thing.
Where Suzanne? Where are you? Are you like near home? Are you kind of at a neighbour's place, or how many? It's kind of mid-afternoon now, isn't it? It's sort of like pushing 3 o'clock. So, how many more jobs? How many more grooming sessions have you got on this afternoon?
Well, 5 total for the day, and I'm working on my.
I missed that. Somebody went bling.
So 4 or 5 jobs, Susan.
Between 5 and 6 a day. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's a busy lady. Yeah, she's done this with us before. Yeah, she keeps us so busy. She's
good at her job.
Charges like what, $60 a pooch, which is like, and that's 5 or 6 jobs a day. I want to become a groomer. I really do. I've said this before. I think
like a Tory MP when you use that word.
I'm not grooming children. I'm grooming dogs.
You sound like something out of Pizzagate, mate.
And you got to be able to have self-grooming before you can groom dogs. I mean, look at you, man. Come on.
I know. I look a mess at the moment. I haven't shaved in a few days. Forgive me, Suzanne. You probably well, you can't see me, so it's okay.
No,
but
I can't see you, mate.
But I have gone a few days without shaving. Forgive me. I should never present myself to a lady unshaved. But
I don't have scalp.
We're not going here. We're not going here. We've done enough of the grooming. We've done enough of the Shih Tzus. So tell me, what are your first thoughts of this new Trump presidency?
That's a good question. Wait and see,
He's produced 7 resolutions now, according to Outgaz. And I'm expecting you to recite them all.
I mean, he's certainly, hitting the ground running. I'll give him that, I very much wait and see. I think it's too early on to make a judgment at this.
Do you think that you could do a good job at grooming Donald Trump?
I don't know if anybody could manage
that.
What
He's
would you
a billionaire,
do?
And this is the best he can do.
Couldn't we just do a box? Couldn't we get him and Boris Johnson together? Maybe they could swap rugs.
We could put a flea collar on Donald Trump. We could stick a flea collar on him and stick one of those chips in the back of his neck, so everybody would be able to find him if he got lost. And
a bark collar. Let's give him a bark collar. That'd be great.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no!
I don't like that.
Still there? Is Andi there?
listening to the silliness.
Yeah, we have been quite silly tonight, haven't we? Sorry, but someone's got to be, yeah. So Suzanne, what do you? So after you clock off with the dogs today, are you cooking? Are you going to go home and prepare for the family, or prepare Are you going to make a meatloaf? That's what everybody in America eats, isn't it? Because whenever I watch American TV, all they ever eat is meatloaf. Have you noticed that? Whenever you're watching an American film, there doesn't seem to be any other food except meatloaf and mashed potatoes and greens.
I just had a great joke from Michael Finley. Michael Finley, who keeps breaking up, but he's still with us. A Shih Tzu is a zoo with no animals.
Oh, I'm sure they'd be appalled to hear such slander.
FCC must
bless their hearts that you could fill a zoo with Shih Tzus, and I'm sure people would flock to them to pet them and stuff.
I'd be there.
Do you ever
what's the admission price?
I don't know.
Susan, do you ever get asked to groom chickens for people like Gary?
No, but
the chicken,
pigs, rabbits. I don't groom all these critters on a regular basis, but I have in my life.
You've groomed
miniature horses.
Oh, miniature horses! Wow, yeah.
A potbelly pig. I used to have and bathe my potbelly pig all the time. So.
What you used to have as a pet?
Yes.
Oh wow! What were they like? Are they as intelligent as pooches or what would you say?
Idea.
There's a reason that I would not have one in my home. They're very sweet. Loved this particular individual. Loved people. Loved being around you. He was a very nice little piggy, but
he called him
became very obnoxious, and we had to give him away. He would bang with his nose. Once I discovered he was peeing in the house, because we let him in the house. The person who had him before us had him in the house. And you don't.
Oh, so he wasn't properly house trained then.
He was not. So he was banished to the yard, and he had a nice little pig house in the yard, and developed a habit of bashing my sliding glass door with his nose because I don't know, he either wanted to come in or he wanted to eat, and so it just became.
Maybe he wanted to be a window cleaner.
Yeah. Well, he broke my screen, so I couldn't have the screen that door open.
Oh no!
And,
Did he get quite big then, Susan? I mean, he must have, got reasonably sizable and then quite powerful. So when he was sort of, in order to sort of crack your.
And then there's like a dog. Did he try and hump your leg like a dog?
No. No, he lived actually
or
quite
like
happily
Piers.
with my dogs in the yard.
Do you have chickens?
I would recommend it. I'm trying to downsize the size of my personal pet family. It's too much. I'm kind of would like a little more freedom to travel and that, and I don't have that right now because we have too much,
What have you got on your menagerie at the moment?
That's very rude. What a question.
It's not a rude word, menagerie. It's just a simple, asking what she has pet-wise at home. It's like, do you have? So you don't have a pig anymore, Suzanne, but do you have cats, dogs, your own, rabbits, hedgehogs? I don't know.
I'm very interested in this, by the way.
3 cats and a bird.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
What kind of bird?
So 6 dogs, 3 cats, and a bird. And the bird is a green cheek conure. That's the one I would keep.
Well, they live for a long time. They live a lot longer than any of the other pets you've got. So, I mean, when you have a parrot or a parakeet, they are very long life. They have they've got long lifespans, haven't they? So, does your parrot swear, Suzanne?
No, he doesn't.
You haven't taught him any rude words. I mean, does he say anything at all? Does he say?
He does, but they're not really this particular kind of little parrot. They're called little pocket parrots. They're actually a little bit smaller than a cockatiel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Their ability to enunciate is not very.
because you see these sort of African greys and sort of macaws or whatever. They are incredible. They and actually, what is it? What are they called? Those minor birds, isn't it? A minor they're black. I saw one in Paris. Sacré-Cœur. Minor bird. I think it's a minor bird. They're incredibly good mimics. Exactly. I said hello to it, and it went hello straight back. Like literally just mimicking me straight off the cuff. I was blown away. They're extraordinary. There's so many videos of parrots on YouTube. Of this one I saw the other day. There's all these kitties sort of encroaching on this parrot on the edge of a sofa, and the parrot's just going meow meow meow. These cats, and they're just sort of like, what the hell's going on, man? I don't know what is this? This is a cat? No, man, it's got feathers. Shit, I don't know. Sorry.
It's a bird.
Yeah.
Have we devolved into a cat video online podcast? Is that where we are now?
I thought that was quite good.
I think we may have. Yeah. That was.
Now,
sorry, Suzanne. I lowered the tone.
What the hell are we
pigs over here, in Spain, and of course they love their jamon, which is a pig's leg, basically cured, and then they eat it. In fact, I've got one.
Hey! Don't be talking about eating ham to a lady who used to keep a pet pig.
Well, I was just wondering.
It's got to be traumatic to some degree.
Well, you live.
Suzanne, how big did your pig get?
You live in an area, Suzanne, which is highly Hispanic, and I just wondered if you were worried that someday you were going to turn around and see that somebody had lobbed off one of his rear legs or something and started backseat their car or something. I mean, it is a worry.
What question?
Do you eat pork, Suzanne? Do you like bacon in the morning with your eggs?
Are you a good Christian woman?
I'm not.
What's eating bacon got to do with Christianity?
You do not have to answer that question, Suzanne.
In Spain,
I am not a vegetarian. I'm not a vegetarian. I will occasionally eat meat, but I honestly prefer not to. I eat I often eat vegetarian.
Just the crackling.
No, I think that's very good. I don't think I could be entirely vegetarian. Although I do. Well, to be fair, I eat too much.
Vegetarian, for goodness' sake. You got nothing vegetarian about you.
No, I'm a carnivore. I am like a velociraptor. I will literally consume any amount of.
A side of beef on your lap right now. What are you doing?
Wow.
What are you doing?
I'm chewing on jerky while we're talking. No, I mean it's sorry, you can't see many more boys because my phone ran out. I mean, but no, it's I think Suzanne, you probably eat the most healthy out of the three of us or the four of us that are still on air. I don't really know whether Andy's still there. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Of course, I'm here.
He's there. Listen, we should get him involved. He's just sort of quietly sort of loitering.
I'm listening advocaately.
Andy's got a nice big fat spliff on the go, which I'm extremely jealous of, and I wish I was actually in Andy's front room right now.
Advocating the whole idea of the show. That's all. I'm just trying to, make this make sense.
Silently advocating the main kind of topic of conversation. Yeah, no, absolutely. No, good man. Is it a good one? Is it nice stuff? Are you getting suitably off your box? Sort of, are you beginning to float? Are you, describe the feeling that you're going through to those the uninitiated? Although I can't imagine anybody in California is uninitiated. Isn't it sort of a rite of passage in California to smoke a bit of grass when you're growing up? I mean, surely there's nobody that.
I think this is almost a question, Susan. Just bear with us.
Yeah. What did he say?
I don't know.
I don't know, Suzanne. Come on, will you admit on air that you have smoked marijuana at some point in your life? You don't have to say that you smoke it now or that you smoke, but at some point in your life, in your adolescence, you would have been past a joint and you may have reluctantly inhaled and tried it, but then decided that it wasn't for you. Or maybe you just like smoking ganja. I don't know. I mean,
just ask the question.
Yeah, and answer the question. Yeah.
The short answer is yes.
Good.
Hey!
God for that.
See, I don't think you can live in California.
2 seconds. Line. Susan, I spent a bit of time in California, and I enjoyed a bit of time going to one or two of the state fairs. And I can recall one which was kind of like a harvest fair, actually. And it was kind of about, I don't know, it was October time, and I came back with a couple of ounces and sold it on Haight-Ashbury, actually. But it was, people were buying it by the box load. We were stopped by the cops on the way going in, and they just wanted to kind of make sure that we didn't have anything with us. It was a joke because we got in there, and I mean, the place just was. I mean, have you heard of those kind of things, those harvest fairs?
I haven't been to one, but I have not been to one. No, I mean, we have a county fair, but I don't know that it would be, and it does happen in the fall, animals and all kinds of things there, but it's not a harvest fair. It's like I don't know, agriculture. They do have a lot of, I would say the focus there is more on animals.
Oh, yeah, sure. All right.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, it has been, let's face it has been illegal in the majority of California for a very long time. I mean, we're entering new territory, you know. I mean, it's the sort of people's lobby, isn't it? It's, you know, we're finally beginning to educate ourselves. We're finally enlightening ourselves about so many different things that previously we never knew about.
Something that's specific to this theme, and this is from the Barter Fair, 1130 Tethero Road, Williams, Oregon, 97544. Important information and warnings. Welcome to the 1993 Barter Fair, our 15th year. Modesty. Support freedom and obey all our rules and directions from our staff wearing green and orange shirts. It sounds like ISIS. We're under increased scrutiny this year. All county agencies are paying close attention to us as our fair has grown. Perhaps we will achieve mass gathering size this year. That will affect preparation.
Where is this? In California?
This was in 1993. This was what I was handed as I went into this this harvest fair. And
so harvest fair is like a euphemism for just a big spliff kind of gathering.
It's not even a euphemism, really. I mean, it doesn't mention this, but it's harvesting it, and you know,
harvest fair. Okay, so harvesting your crop of ganj, bringing it to somewhere in a field with a bunch of other people, and just getting high as a kite.
Well, that's what we did the entire weekend, and I ended up thinking that I worked for the mafia. I mean, I tell you, it was a bit dodged, but we were okay, and I lived to tell another tale. Yeah,
I think it's damaged you.
There has been a history of some degree of acceptance by law enforcement in at least Oregon and possibly Washington, that whole Seattle thing, I suppose. No, Susan, is kind of, there has been some tolerance, not always, but sometimes. I mean, it's what's happened is kind of organic in a way, excuse the pun, with the cannabis now being more accepted. It's happened over a long period of time, but that's where we are. No, it's.
No, we're not buying the government BS any longer. That's the thing. I mean, we're beginning to think for ourselves. You know, we came out of the Second World War. The 50s was this sort of, you know, kind of Stepford Wives era. You know, of like toasters and you know, and you know, fridges and ovens and just this sort of dynamite, like normal, you know, kind of designer label kind of like lifestyle, and now we're Bakelite and kind of like now we're kind of like now we're kind of waking up a bit. We're now realizing that actually this kind of reality has been painted for us, and we've just been buying it hook, line and sinker for too long, and now we've actually come out of our hangover and we're waking up and we're saying, oh God, actually, you know, we're being lied to all the time about pretty much everything. So, you know, it's about time we started to think for ourselves. You know,
anyway. Gary, how many plants are you growing now?
There was 50, and I've got a huge echo right now.
Oh,
sorry, I'm going to turn my somebody tried to contact me on.
Yeah, I did. I'd appreciate it if we try this thing, Piers, that we said we'd try. I can't see you now. We're supposed to be using this thing by way of an experiment. You suddenly.
Yeah, no, my phone is out of juice.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Gary, how many plants are you growing? I can't hear him at all. Gary.
Andy, you're still there, aren't you?
I am.
There we go. Here, I'm back.
Andy, how stoned are you now? Could you describe how stoned you are?
I am so way out there. I'm just looking at statistics of so 6.8 billion a year, which is what the cannabis trade is worth. And possibly that's another reason why we're not looking to make it legal anytime soon. As a symptom relief.
No, it's surely it's the market of chemo, for example, that they're trying to protect.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth.
Yeah.
It's just mad, isn't it? I mean, if you've got something growing out of the ground, it's natural. It's created via rain and sunlight and lovely stuff like that. Or you've got something that's been man-made and genetically modified and goodness knows what. That posh word that Piers used earlier. I mean, which one are you going to go for? I would have said go for the thing that grows out of the ground. I mean,
it wasn't me who used that word. It was Michael. He said synthetic. He was talking about how they have to synthetically replicate natural things in order to be able to patent them.
No, he was talking about transsexual weed.
Transsexual weed. Don't tell.
Actually, can happen. I had that happen with some of the plants I was growing this past year.
Time warp again.
A bit too much weed, and you might get a bit tranny. Do you know what I mean,
dude?
Let's not go quite that far. Come on now.
Look,
I feel like I'm on acid when you do those effects. Wow, that's cool. Is Suzanne still there? Suzanne, are you still there?
If you want to get a bit tranny on the weed, that's fine. I'm not saying there's a problem with it, but you never know what's going to go on. Suzanne, do you eat mushrooms?
Yes, I do.
God.
Yes, but the portobello variety.
Do you like those? Do you like those blue cabanzas? Right away. Blue cabanza magic mushrooms full of psilocybin.
You're asking, a very respectable lady who has a family to admit to things on air that she doesn't. Suzanne, don't worry. You do not have to have this gang of reprobates gang up on you and tell you that you have to admit to all kinds of sins that you don't need to admit to on the radio anyway. We know you're cool.
If you've even committed them, by the way.
Yeah, we don't know. But I mean, you've admitted to having a puff on a joint, which I think is perfect.
She's a right stoner.
I personally, I think that gives you huge credence in my book. All the mothers of California should have had at least a little hit of a joint at one stage or another.
Come up with that's it. The show's out. I can't believe it. It's the top of the hour, guys. Oh no! God bless you. This has been the old jingly whatnot, and that was gone. I mean, then Gary Branson in California, and recent and Olly in Spain, Susan in California. Our special guest Michael Finley is coming back next week.
You're breaking up, Ol. You're breaking up.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio.